Hi, I'm Jessie. I'm a musician exploring AI. I'm a former major label artist with 4 top 40 albums, now fully indie, and figuring out how to use AI as part of my work. I made a Suno V5 remix of my own track, and here's what I learned. Look, most AI music tools so far have sounded a little bit, I have been using them to come up with ideas, to get ideas kick-started, to use them as my sketchpad, but they have absolutely not been good enough to create final tracks. When Suno released its V5 model at the end of September, I was really curious to see what it could do. Halloween was just around the corner, so I thought that would be the perfect project to try it on. So I created a Halloween-themed remix of my own song, and I thought if it works, it could be a nice little Halloween treat for my audience. If it doesn't, well, no harm done. I can just put it in the bin and wait for the next version, and maybe then it's a little bit better. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through how I used Suno to remix one of my own tracks, what worked, and worked really well actually, and what didn't quite work, and what I did to actually turn the raw Suno output into something that I was quite happy to share with my audience. If you're a music creator trying to figure out how you can use AI in your projects, this video is for you. All right, let me first show you. This is the original track. Okay, so it's a melodic synth-pop track. And here is the Suno remix of it. All right, so let me just walk you through how I did this remix using Suno. All right, here I am inside suno.com. And what I did was I took my original track exactly as it is, and I just uploaded it into Suno. So I went to create and click audio, and then I uploaded the complete track in there. Now, here's a little word of warning. Suno does not like it if you upload tracks that you don't own the copyright of. So this is perfect for remixing my own tracks, but keep that in mind if you are thinking of creating cover versions or remix tracks of other people's songs. Okay, now that that's out of the way. So what you can see here, the track is uploaded in here. So it's Almost As a Human, that's the audio track there. And it has also captured the lyrics of the song. Now what we can do, let me just make a little bit more space here. So here you can now input the styles. What I like to do is I use genres and then I use mood. Try different things and see which prompts work for you and for your project. I wanted this to be a Halloween remix, so I also use things like spooky and Halloween and moody and dark, prompts like that. As with all AI music generation, you always need to do a lot of versions before you find that thing that really clicks for you. And then here in the advanced option, you need to expand it. In the advanced option, you will be able to then say, well, first of all, if your track has vocals, which mine does, I'm just going to give it female so that it knows that the vocals are female and going to work accordingly. Also have lyrics in there. So obviously my track has lyrics already, so they are in there. But if you wanted to generate lyrics, then you can just click auto and then you can prompt and it will create those lyrics for you. Now, these three settings here, weirdness is really how goofy, oddball you want your song to be. So I like to keep that quite low because I don't want anything too crazy. I want it to be an actual track with a real structure that sounds like normal music instead of audio art. And the style influence is how closely the remix obeys your prompt. So the higher the option here, then the closer it is going to be based on the prompt that you have. So for example, if I put industrial rock in there and I put this, let me just do that actually, because otherwise it doesn't let me. Let me just go with that. Okay. So the style influence, if I put it really high, then it's going to be more industrial rock. If I put it low, it can take any kind of style influence. So how closely it is going to be to the prompt that you've given in. is what this slider does. And then audio influence is how closely it is to the audio that you uploaded there. If you put that very high, then it's going to use a lot of the similar sort of sound, and it's going to pick up more of those instruments that you already have there. Also, the vocals are going to sound more like the original. For my remix, I put audio influence about 50%, style influence high. I didn't want to go to res, so I think I put 85%, and then weirdness quite low. I think it was about 20, 25. And then create. So then it will give you your remixes. It always does 2 versions, and then you take it from there. I wanted it to be quite a heavy version instead of what it used to be, this melancholic pop synth version. In the end, I settled with this version. What surprised me most about Suno V5 was really the quality of the music and quality of the ideas as well. These remixes were interesting. There was a lot of stuff going on. This was good music. Also, an interesting thing was that, I'm making a heavier song here. And in the past, specifically with heavy music, the quality is really bad. Guitars really don't sound like guitars. The drums are awful. And in general, it's just really like ugly, mushy, poor quality music. But Suno really got metal music this time. But what also surprised me, and not in a very positive way, was the vocals. It really changed the vocals too much to my liking. Even when I put the audio influence a little bit higher, it really doesn't sound like me. So actually the whole remix would have been a complete waste of time if it ended up sounding like another person. So I needed to do something about that. Now, here's a really cool feature that Suno has that helped me fix this issue. If you go here and right click, you can see Get Stems. This is one of the pro features. And if you click that, then it gives you options for extracting the stems. So it can take that full sound and extract all the different instruments on their own downloadable tracks. So either you can choose to extract all detectable stems, so all detectable instruments and vocals on the track, or it can just separate the vocals and then the backing tracks. So I did that. That gave me the vocals completely clean and separate from the music, and then the music as its own track. Then what I did, I imported those tracks into my digital workstation. I use Reason, some people use Logic or FL Studio, doesn't matter. I use Reason, so I brought those stems into Reason. And then I also brought my original vocal track in there. And then I did a bunch of editing. First of all, AI music still has this tendency of meandering. It does the song and then it builds it up and then it goes down and then it builds it up and then it goes down. It just kind of doesn't know when to stop. So I tightened the track a little bit and then I edited my vocals on top of that. There were actually some really interesting vocal ideas also in that vocal track that didn't sound like me at all. So I still added that in there, but just as a little bit of backing track, and in the middle 8, I just kept a little vocal idea in there. But overall, the whole track has my original vocals on it, so it sounds like me. And the end result was just so cool. I'm just so excited about what I was able to create with Suno V5. So in the beginning, I said, I just want to test this thing out. If it doesn't work, no harm done. At least I've done a little bit of experimentation. And if it does work, maybe I'll release it to my audience as a little bit of a Halloween treat. Well, I thought the end result was great, so I just released it. I just put it on Spotify and every single streaming service out there. I even did a little video using Runway to create a YouTube video of that track. I really love it. So that was my experience of using Suno in my music. If you're a fellow musician and you want to learn how to use AI in your creative process, head over to school and join my AI for Musicians community. If you want to check out my music and my creative work, follow me on Patreon. Both links are below. I hope you enjoyed this experiment. See you later.